Good evening. Probably the most popular things that people are craving is a sense of joy and a real feeling, good feeling of self-esteem. Well, the answer we find in this week's Haftorah. And this week's Haftorah is the Shabbos, the first Shabbos of the 3 weeks of mourning. And we learn that God appointed Jeremiah, the prophet, Yirmiyahu Hanavi, to be a prophet over the Jewish people and to go convince them to better their ways and to return to God. And Jeremiah says to God, I'm scared. I can't do this. Who am I? God says, before I formed you, I knew you. And before you came out of your mother's womb, I have sanctified you. And Jeremiah says, but I'm but a lad. Who am I? And God says, don't say that you are but a lad, because I am with you. Says the Rebbe that everything in the Torah is relevant and a timeless lesson for each and every one of us. Each and every one of us is a little Jeremiah. And God charged us with a mission to elevate ourselves and to sanctify the world. One might ask, who am I? How could I do it? I don't have the strength. So God tells each and every one of us, before I formed you, I knew you, which means that your soul is a piece of God. And therefore you originate in a place which is much higher than the world. And before you came out of your mother's womb, I sanctified you. As the Talmud says, that each Jewish child is taught the entire Torah before you come out of your mother's womb. But then you might ask, okay, maybe I have the power to transform myself, to be a good observing person, to be an integral Jew. But how could I deal with this dark, confusing world? Says God, don't say that you're a lad, and don't say that you can't, because I am with you in every fork of the way. This message is so empowering and needs to be the greatest source of true joy and a healthy sense of worth, because we might look at ourselves and come to the conclusion that we're just ordinary people and we're not so talented, not so gifted. But that's only the way I look at myself, and if it's only about myself. But if I view myself, if I view my purpose in this world as doing God's mission, that is the greatest source of empowerment, because God, the King of all kings, needs you, needs me to bring light into this world, needs me to make this world a holy world, and it is only I that can accomplish it. And this is the message that we learn from this week's Parsha, that God says to us, you are my prophet, and you have a godly soul, which is precious. You are a child of God. You also were taught the whole Torah. And you have the power not only to refine yourself, but to refine the entire world, because God is with us every step of the way. There's nothing greater than having this knowledge that the King of all kings is always with me 24/7. Have a wonderful Shabbat and all the best.